Stephen, it's the eve of the Youth Cup final. How excited are you about the prospect of leading a team out of Hampden?
Well, it's exciting, of course it is. Just driving up to training today in the bus and hearing the players talking about it, seeing their enthusiasm in training today, which I've seen most of the season. It's it's exciting for us all. The fact the kids have worked ever so hard to get to here. It seems like it's been a long season. We started the campaign back in August or September here against Partick Thistle. So to eventually get ourselves into the final, it's been a great achievement for the players. Just how they've worked and how they went about their business. I think progressively throughout the season they've got better. So, I think tomorrow night's a good reward for them. But I don't want it just to be a reward and turn up and play in the game. I want them to go and win it. We've prepared to win the game. That's what we've done. We've prepared all week to win the game. We spoke positively about the game. We know what our game plan's going to be, how we're going to execute it. It's up to them now to go onto the pitch and replicate what they've done most of the season. And if they do that, then I'll be comfortable that the players will do okay.
How do you keep a young player in check for a final such as this one? Obviously, you've played in finals for Motherwell before, and as an experienced player, and no doubt had butterflies and excitement and struggled to contain yourself, no doubt. How do you then do it with a kid who might be 16 or 17 years old?
Well, you've got to be careful because you don't want to take it away from them. I think that's what makes you play. That's what gives you the edge in the game. That's what sometimes brings the best out in you. It's the fact you're nervous and you're on edge. I'll be nervous. I've got butterflies just now, thinking about it. But I think when the game comes along and once they get onto the pitch and get their warm up, I think then they'll relax. They'll wave at their families. They'll do what they have to do. Then their focus will be on the game. So it's a bit, trying to keep that enthusiasm there. Trying to make sure you contain it in the first 10, 15 minutes, that they're not going chasing the ball and running about silly. We have spoke all week about how we're going to play and what we're going to do. So it's about them carrying that out. Once they start thinking about the game and seeing situations arise that we've spoke about, free kicks, corners, and just things in the game that take place, they start to think, right, now this is what we've spoke about. Now I know what I'm going to have to do. I've got the answers for whatever Hearts have. So yes, it's exciting for them. They're young men, but I want them to make sure that this is not a one-off for them. And I don't mean we're going to make the Scottish Youth Cup final every year, but I want them to be involved in bigger games. If it means playing the Youth Cup final or it means playing for the first team at our club, that's what they have to learn to do. That's what they've come into this football club to do, is to progress, playing big games, playing big occasions. And tomorrow night's probably the biggest occasion that some of them have ever played in. But they have to use that as a motivation to say, I want more of that. I want more. I want to show the hunger and desire that I want to be back playing in big occasions. And that's what youth development's all about.
What sort of test are you expecting from Hearts? I read today in the paper that John Daly thinks at least 9 of the starting 11 will have had first team experience. That poses its own challenges and tests as well. So, what kind of fixture are you expecting from Hearts?
Well, I'm expecting a very tough one. I certainly hope that Hearts are expecting a tough one, because we're going to get after them and have a go and try and take the game to them where we possibly can. So, if it's two sides who will be full of enthusiasm, full of excitement, will certainly believe they have a chance of winning the game. If it means they have 9 players who've had first team experience, then they're probably more experienced than what we will be in certain areas. But we've got a good mix of players who are in the fringes of the first team, players who have played first team football, but also younger ones who are a little bit under the radar. And I think it's probably an important night for them to go and show people who don't know their names, who maybe haven't seen them an awful lot, Motherwell fans coming for the first time, or any kind of fan coming for the first time. I think we've got decent young players, and they have to go and show their talents and show what they can do. So it's going to be tough. Hearts are a good side. I think the majority of the season in the under-20 league they've been playing younger players, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, which shows where the club are. Hearts have got a great tradition of bringing young players through into their first team. You only have to look at Sam Nicholson and Jamie Walker and Liam Smith and guys who've come through the academy and have progressed through and into the first team. So that's a great route for them to do that. That's what we want to do. That's what we've done over the past. I just hope a few of these young players can go and do the same. So, we'll be expecting a tough game, but let's hope they get a tough game.
What do you see as the key to victory? Where are the key areas and the key areas of the battle that are going to decide what team wins this match?
I haven't watched Hearts. Very similar to yourself. I think they're good going forward. They're open. They're expansive. They want to play in the right way. They make good decisions on the ball. They've got match winners on their side, like we have. So you potentially think when it comes to these kind of games, who can defend the best? Who's got the best organisation? Who can take up better positions? Without the ball, you can't go and attack and be open, be expansive and be a threat. So organisation is going to be key. I can imagine they'll be shouting shape from the touchline when they haven't got the ball. We'll be shouting shape when we haven't got the ball. So, we've tried to work our best all season on it, and hopefully you prepare for games like this. You prepare for the big occasion. People understand the rules. If we can get a rule right off the ball, I think certainly we've got enough match winners who, when we land on the ball, can go and cause problems. But likewise, Hearts are the same. They're experienced players of Jordan McGee, who's played first team football, Robbie Buchanan in midfield, Angus Beath in midfield as well. So they're a handful. They're going to be tough. I think Zanata up front, looks an exceptional young player. Young Ali Roy's got lots of pace up top as well. So, you always speak about attacking players, but I think tomorrow night, the defensive side of the game, the organisational side of the game, could be something that could sweat towards the winners.
Can you take inspiration, you don't mention defensively, from previous rounds where your team have been very rigid at the back, but also this season, 2 games against Hearts, both of them have been very, very tight, albeit different teams are probably maybe likely to line up from tomorrow, but your side haven't lost to them yet. It's a draw and a victory for Motherwell. Any hope or inspiration, or is it tomorrow completely different?
Well, it's strange because we played Hearts earlier in the season at Livingston. I think it was 1-1 or 2-2. And they were very experienced. Gavin Riley played, Doom I think played as well. I think that night we had Louis Lang played, Wes Fletcher might have played. So we then played them in the return fixture at Stenhouse-Muir, and we had a few first team boys playing, and they were very young. So it's kind of hard to find a gauge of how they'll be and how we'll be. We'll both be sussing each other out. You expect a frantic first 5 or 10 minutes. I can imagine the ball will be looking to get stretchered off after 10 minutes. It'll be kicked and headed that much, but that's what you get with youth football. But as I say, on the night, it's who can settle the best, who can get their patterns going, and who can feel their way into the game. I don't think previous form really means anything to anybody. If the two sides had met previously and it was the same full strength sides, then we could maybe get a better gauge. But we're focusing on what we can do. Ultimately, we've got something in the back of our mind of how they're going to play, what they're going to do, their style of play. We have to combat that first. Ultimately, we have to be able to look after them first, and if we can, then we can get Dom Thomas and Ross McLean further up the pitch, Dylan Mackin and Chris Cadden. Can we get these guys on the ball in the final third of the pitch? We think we can hurt teams, but ultimately when that happens, then we have to make sure that we're organised at the back.
You're somebody who's been through a lot of big games yourself, internationals, cup finals. John Daly, to be fair, the same at Hearts. You'll see them tomorrow, but what's the message to any of your players who are watching this for them tomorrow? What will be the key point that you tell them to do? Will it be enjoy it?
I think it always is. Do you enjoy it? I remember we played in the cup final against Rangers. I'm not going to talk about me continually, but when we lost 5-1, I remember thinking after the game, a lot of our players just enjoyed the occasion. Yeah. Went along, played at Hampden. The game was past us before we could even make any kind of impact on it. And the message I've kind of given to the players all season long, irrespective of what game you're playing in or what you're doing, and if they're listening or watching, they'll know, go and make an impact in the game. Go and show people what you can do. Go and be the catalyst to ignite the game for your teammates. Let people go away from the game thinking, what a player he is. He's somebody who can take responsibility. He can ignite his teammates. He can take people on. He can be a good defender, irrespective of what position you're playing. So there's always an opportunity. Tomorrow night is probably as big an opportunity as some of our players may ever have to show people what they can do on the big stage. Don't let it pass you by. Yes, be nervous, be excited. Don't half sleep tonight. All those kind of things. That's part of it. That's part of learning how to be a professional football player. But the best way to learn is when you land in the big occasion, can you produce? Is it a little bit of pressure? Yes, it is. But if you want to be a professional football player, you want to play at the highest level, there's got to be pressure somewhere. And it's good to learn at a young age, because when you get to the first team and you get to the big games, you'll understand what it's all about. Make it a positive experience, and the only way to make it a positive experience is to win the cup.